I love this kid's moxie. Nick, we talk about it all the time. We want to see more of this. But Chase Young, be careful what you ask for. Tom Brady, the GOAT, is on a mission, and he's going to get the last laugh, buddy. I'm telling you right now. But I love the moxie.
I don't know. I texted Brandon this next video. I said, Brandon, is this normal? He said, yeah, he's probably just running late. Not a big deal. Texted him back. I said, with all due respect, you're totally wrong. This is a heroic run out, Brandon. I know a hero when I see one. It's John Wolford running out. Then there's another video, though. Golf is back. This is Golf and the Wolfman taking snaps together. So when I looked at the, I was like, what's the reaction to this? Because, you know, everyone's very excited in the comments. Here are a few of them. Let's go. I thought it was about Golf. Wolford is better, so this is good. It's all Seahawks fans in the comments super happy that Golf is practicing. Low-key, we want to bend up Golf over hot legs Wolford. So, look, Nick, we've talked about this. When the other team is happy with your decision, you're making the wrong decision. Granted, we need to boil that down a little bit. But the fact that Seahawks fans are so happy to see Golf practicing is bad news. The Wolfpack is going to howl. Start Wolford.
Anything Wolf-related, Teen Wolf, loved it. I loved it. Love it so much. Hey, guys, you know I've been on the Cam bandwagon, the Cam wagon coming into this season for a long time. You know that. The guy showed up, put his head down, put the work in, all my kind of favorite traits. I love those traits in an athlete. Then the guy goes out, and he has a truly terrible season. I mean, one of the worst seasons you can have. Which made me laugh when I read the following quote. He comes out yesterday and he says, if you're asking me if I want to be a backup, hell no. Backup. Buddy, I don't know if you're going to be a sixth stringer, an eighth stringer next season. I said, now how do I handle this? I was on the bandwagon. What do? I said, okay, I'm going to handle this the way I handle everything else in my life. My 5-year-old thinks she's Beyonce, she can't hold a tune. My 7-year-old thinks she's Brishnikov, she got 2 left feet. My wife thinks she can cook, not even gonna touch it. So Cam, I'm gonna tell you this, buddy. You think you're a starter? You go be a starter. You don't let any team tell you otherwise. You show up and you command that starting role under center. That's my advice to you. I'm gonna lie my way through life.
So can she cook or not?
Jenna just napalmed the whole house.
She can't cook. My whole family got thrown under the bus.
They're all there with you.
The whole family got thrown under the bus.
My God.
Just realized that. Hey, let's stay in the NFL. Playoffs getting underway this weekend. We're going to focus on Titans-Ravens. Good old-fashioned playoff rematch. Last year, remember, Ravens riding that 12-game win streak only to be steamrolled by Derrick Henry. And for Lamar Jackson, it's yet another opportunity to get that first playoff win under his belt. A lot riding on this game for the third-year quarterback, and he knows it. Take a listen.
Just hoping to get rid of this narrative that everyone's been talking about Sunday. Oh,
for sure. You know, it's when to go home right now. You know, I want to win regardless. I don't really care about what people got to say. You know, only been in the playoffs twice. You know, my young career, you know, other people been in the league forever, haven't been in the playoffs at all, but it is what it is, you know, but definitely trying to erase that narrative right there. That's the #1 right now in my mind, for sure.
All right, Brandon, would beating the Titans, quote, erase that narrative of Lamar's postseason failure, or would the Baltimore Ravens need a deep, deep playoff run in order to do that?
Yeah, I think he just needs to win one game and get that monkey off his back. Look, every player drafted in the league, any league, has a narrative that they have to overcome, whether it's Tom Brady being drafted where he was drafted and people not thinking that he was going to even be a backup, or DK Metcalf, one of the probably most prolific wide receivers in the National Football League now. When guys drafted him and when people passed on him, they said that he couldn't run routes. Now look at him today. But when you think about the Baltimore Ravens in this season, you can say that they're overachieving right now because that defense they're not who they used to be. They had some injuries. They had some personnel problems, losing a guy here or there. And then offensively, they can't pass the ball. Greg Roman, and we've been talking about this for a very long time, he's a genius when it comes to the run game. Absolutely genius. But where's the continuity when it comes to the pass game? Does it marry what you're trying to do there? So Lamar Jackson, win one game, get the monkey off your back, but I don't think he needs to win multiple games now because I don't think this team is set up in a way to go win a championship this year, Nick.
All right, Brandon, real quick, stay with me here for a second, because you have supported Lamar well before it was in vogue.
Yeah.
I feel like Lamar is kind of taking a low-key shot at my guy Brandon Marshall there. He's like, hey, there's a lot of great players in this league. They've never been to the playoffs. I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah.
Like, that ain't right.
Yeah.
Like, what is he doing there?
Yeah.
It's like Brandon's always got your back.
It's the reality.
Brandon, but he is right in this regard also. If he had been worse his rookie year, this narrative doesn't exist. And by that I mean that Ravens team was 4-5. They were floundering. And he carried them to the postseason, and then he was bad in that playoff game. There's no denying it. But if he had just been 2 games worse his rookie season, and it's like, oh, Lamar had a good year, he got him to 9-7, and they missed the playoffs, then all we're talking about is 1 game against the Titans. But because it's 2 years in a row, and because he was the unanimous MVP last season, and they were 14-2, last year's playoff loss, Wilds, almost feels like 2 in and of itself. It's like, oh, man, you were the #1 seed, you had a bye, and you followed. So it feels like he's a victim of his own success twice. His rookie season, getting him there, and last year being so good. And it is not typical for quarterbacks to do what Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes did, which is get to the playoffs immediately and immediately win games in the playoffs. It took Drew Brees years. Peyton Manning, in year 5, had not won a playoff game, made the playoffs for the 3rd time in year 5, and lost 41-0 to the Jets. Peyton Manning, arguably the 3rd greatest quarterback of all time. And so it is hard to win in the postseason. We all know that. That's not the hottest of takes. With all that said, Wilds, I do think he needs to win this weekend, or this is going to follow.
Switch it up on me.
He does not need to go on a deep playoff run, but he's got to win. If he does not win this weekend, I'll bring up Peyton again. Peyton is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. He's won 5 MVPs. But if you have a conversation about Peyton Manning, Wilds, that's longer than 5 minutes long, you know what somebody's going to bring up? Kind of, wasn't that great of a playoff quarterback. And so even though he won a Super Bowl, or won 2, and ended up being great, that still followed him. And I think legitimately. So I don't think Lamar needs to go deep into the postseason, but I think if they lose and he plays poorly, this is going to be the narrative, fairly or not, that continues to follow him moving forward.
Sure. Before I get to Lamar, that your take on just because he was successful and got into the playoffs and failed shouldn't be held against him. That's like when you buy something on Amazon, you're about to put it in your cart, and it's like, oh, other people bought this as well. That's your take. The Lamar take, you're like, also, are you interested in LeBron's early playoff takes? Like, oh, also, yeah, I'll take that from Nick Wright. Perfect. So, similar take.
LeBron never lost in the first round.
I always buy the